Hello and welcome to Coaching Think Talk. I am Coach Shaun from Life Coach Philippines, and this is Coaching for Sane Parenting. This coaching conversation are for parents with teenage children who are wanting to create a mentally fit environment at home. And my mission is to help 1 million parents create a mentally fit ecology at home so that they can have a peaceful and harmonious relationship. Thank you very much for joining me live today, and please leave your digital footprints by letting us know where you are currently at today. Where are you from today? Where are you coming from today? Please do tag a friend and circulate this video to help us more individuals who might be in need of what I'll be sharing for you this season. You may also give a shout out to people you want to greet and reach out with some inspiring message out there. If you have any inspiring message out there, let's bless the digital space. Let's bless other people. It's a few more days before the weekend starts. I think during these times, it can be some challenges or stresses in the workplace, and some inspiring messages would help, just motivate the person and really just uplift the person so that they can continuously keep on moving so that they achieve their goals. If you are watching this on a replay, for those people who's watching these videos on replay, just put in there hashtag replay so we know that you're watching, you're engaging, and you're connecting with us. I am also streaming via FB page of Life Coach Philippines and YouTube channel Coach AI Connect. If you are new to the platform or maybe you're seeing this on a shared link, please like and follow and subscribe to the link. All right. Thank you again for joining me this morning. Today, I'm going to talk about how to talk to your teen. And this is one of the things that I have learned as I progress as a parent, as I realize how parenting can be a challenging thing, especially when your kids starting to be teenagers, and it's something that remains to be a challenge for a lot of parents. Me growing up, it's something that I realize is one of the biggest things that every parent would need is how they can communicate, how they can engage, and how they can connect with their teenagers. All right. Thank you for joining me again. If you have any if you know anyone that could benefit on this, just share this video so that we can bless more people in the digital space. So before we begin, let me just share this image. So this is an image of my family. This is back then when I still have hair in my head, more hair in my head than what I have today. And this is at Decap Coffee Republic. And Decap Coffee Republic is the home of certified life coaches here in the Philippines. And you can visit this place from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. If you want to visit that, you can go to Decap Coffee Republic. The beautiful thing here is the people that are serving you are professional life coaches as well. If you want to talk to a life coach, you have any questions, maybe you need clarifications in your life, or you want, you have something, or you want to work on something, you just need to have a conversation with them, ask them for a coaching session, and they will be gladly help you with that. And that's a powerful thing when you go to Decap Coffee Republic. You don't need to schedule, for a coaching session. Just go there, enjoy the place, order food if you want, then just engage. Or if you don't want to engage, if you want to just find a safe space for you to be able to be yourself, just relax, just go there. There's a white wall in there if you want to go there, or there's a place in there as well that there are flowers, or there are halamans there. Yeah, mga halaman dyan na gusto nyong makita, then you can do so. This is the time when I had my family there, and my daughter there is 19 years old, and my son is 15 years old. And this picture depicts how we have progressed along on our relationship and our communication. You see, one of the biggest challenges that I have specifically as a father is the lack of connection with my children. And this is something that I have learned from my dad specifically. My dad is working here in Manila while we were in LA. That's not Los Angeles, California. That's in Legazpi, Albay. That's in the Bicol region. And I didn't really have that connection with my dad. So it's seldom that I had this, father figure that I would look up to and would guide me of all the things that they need to do, how to converse with, children, how to communicate with them. Most of the time, the learnings that I have is coming from my mom, and my mom has done well. But of course, you know, there are some things that I've learned from her as well that I was able to, implement to my children. Some worked, some didn't work, and a lot of different things in my life. And before I got certified as a life coach 3 years ago, the communication line that we have back then was not really that effective, not really that efficient. When I say not effective, I don't know what they're doing. What usually happens is they lock themselves in their rooms, or they have their own little world, or they're conversing with their friends rather than conversing with me. And that made me realize the lacking on my end to make the adjustments to communicate and connect with my children. They I remember a time in which my dad told me that, because I asked him that you're not communicating with me, and he told me that I need to be the one who's connecting with him. And I kind of took that as a reminder that if we are not taught by anyone or even our parents on how to have an interaction with our children, it will be challenging as well for future generations to have that connection. And coaching has allowed me to, significantly make that connection with them, to get to know them, to understand how they feel, to understand how they think, to understand their needs, to understand their wants, especially at times that they don't speak. It's really a challenge. And life coaching has paved a way to create a avenue for that, for connection. And it's a wonderful thing. Like my daughter right now, who's 19 years old, is now an entrepreneur, which life coaching has allowed us to support her doing the things that she loves, identifying her talents, utilizing her talent, monetizing it, and working on that consistently. I mean, at that age, I can remember back then I was still at school, because I was taking up a 5-year course. But she's earning right now, and she's starting up with her business. And my son, you see there, is jump starting. He's able to discover the things that he wants to do, and the talent that he's working on. And it's a process in which, when you're able to have clarity on that, it just makes the conversation more powerful. It makes the connection more strong. And you have the peace and the confidence that your children will do well when it's time for them, to be alone, to move on, to have a family, and be successful in their respective lives and also career. So before I begin, let me briefly introduce myself. For those who's watching, thank you for watching. Coach Maureen, Coach Glacy, and Coach Candy, maraming salamat for joining. If this is the first time you're joining me, if this is the first time you're seeing this face, if this is the first time, probably, you're watching this on a shared link. I am Coach Shaun. I'm a professional CACC life coach and a mental health coach. From Life Coach Philippines, my focus is in the area of self-leadership. And self-leadership is our ability to be intentional on the way we feel and the way we think and the way we act. When I was growing up, and even in the corporate world as a leader, I didn't really have any idea of what self-leadership, until I found this most recently about what self-leadership is all about. Because self-leadership is you leading yourself first before you can lead others. I come into a space where leadership is something that is required of you, especially in at home when growing up. That you need to be independent. You need to be able to solve your own problems, especially as men out there, right? Mayor Leonard, di ba tayo dapat alam mo kung you know how to solve your problem. You don't need anyone else for you to get supported, because you are required, you are tasked, you are asked, and you are stereotyped that you need to solve your own problem. And I've realized that one of the biggest challenges of individuals on why they're not, considered for a promotion, why they're not getting the role, while they're not, getting all of the things that they want, is because of the lacking of self-leadership. Because if you can lead others, but your life, is not that good, or some areas of your life you're not able to work on, then there's an opportunity for you to do better on yourself. That doesn't mean that your life is not working. it just means that you are more intentional about the way that you respond with other people, especially if you have triggers. Maybe may mga times naiinis ka, nabubwisit ka because of the conversations, the situations, and the problems. And instead of you responding in a reactive way, you're more proactive in responding. You are intentional of the kind of results that you want to achieve or the kind of experience that you want to have. And that is what self leadership is all about. And that goes through with parenting, because if you cannot lead yourself, then it's a challenge for you to lead your children. And I found out that in a hard way for the past 19 years of being a parent. Yes, I've been a parent for 19 years. I've been a father since I'm 19 years old. So imagine a teenager, yeah, a latter part of my teenage years, that I'm just starting my life and understanding what is life all about. Then suddenly, bang, you get that experience of having a father. So it's a eye-opening experience for me, experiencing that bang in my life. And I told myself, okay, what do I need to do next, and how do I need to move forward with this? Because it's a big responsibility to be a parent, and it's a bigger responsibility to be a father. So that is the challenge there. Hello, Coach Saibel. Thank you for joining me. Um, I've been doing this coaching profession full time since I left the corporate world back in 2019. After 14 years of successful career in the corporate, in the call center industry, I decided to, go in full time life coaching. I want to be able to help my children. I want to be able to help other people. I want to be able to allow others to see things in a different perspective, to see things in a perspective that allows them to have clarity on what they want. That is something that I've experienced back in the corporate world, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Gusto ko ba to? Gusto ko ba A? Gusto ko ba B? Just a lot of different things, even kind of relationship that I had that worked, that didn't work, that I screwed up, that at times I did something, not so great. And these are the things that I've experienced. And this is this is one of the biggest thing that allowed me to make that move to start really my intention is to start bringing my family together. And what I will share to you today is something that I've learned as I progress. And this is something valuable to me. It's something that's very close to me, and I continue to work on this. So if you see something in here that you feel you could start implementing, then do so. If you have any questions, so feel free to ask questions. Message me, and we'll be happy to share with you some insights, some tips on how you can improve that connection with your children, especially with your teenage children, so that you won't have that fear that something might happen to them in the future. My mission again is to help 1 million parents. That is something that I really wanted to move forward with. Create a mentally fit ecology. Kailangan. It really is needed right now, especially with the times, with the changes, changes in the educational system. How teachers are engaging with the children, how the parents are engaging with the children. When things change, when the fourth wave comes in, are the things that we need to start working on, and we start focusing on, so that we can start helping, equipping, preparing for our children to be successful in their life. All right. So, why talking gets hard? Yan. Why is talking difficult for most of us? Even me, at times, this is a challenge for me to do that. This is a challenge for me to engage. This is a challenge for me to make that connection. And parents have certain expectations or plans for their teens which don't always match what the teen would want their life to be, and vice versa. I can remember a time in which Coach Tin and myself have plans for our child and what we need to do. This is what we wanted to do, and so on and so forth, only to have that really, disconnected, because what the children want for themselves is not what the parents want for them. Like, yun yung experience namin. And I experienced a time in which me as a parent, I had trouble really seeing what my teens, really wanted to do, what they wanted to do. And the simplest form of questioning and asking powerful questions allows the children to open up so that we can hear them. And these expectations, I'm fortunate that my dad and my mom didn't really push expectations with me that I had grades and what have you, and so on and so forth. But these things, when we have clarity that our children wants to be different to what we're doing, it allows them to be more confident and be open to any types of conversation that you would have. So these expectations, I've learned as I progress, doesn't really work for my children. And that's a reason why I changed that. And that's a reason why we started to move to the change of coaching, because coaching really allows the children to start thinking. And at times, teens may take the help and support provided by their parents for granted. So ito yung nangyayari. Now, we take things for granted. You know, we take things that things will be okay. Na parang okay naman, isipin ng mga bata. That at times, children forget to appreciate the work that you do. They forget to appreciate things that is happening. And this is where the disconnection comes in, because they now start to feel uncomfortable, navigating through life under the parents' care. And they would rather retreat in their rooms and with themselves and rather have a conversation with other people. And there's a lot of different reasons why that happens. There's a lot of different reasons why children and teens specifically would, just lock themselves in the room and not have that conversation. They know they need help. Know they need support. They know they need advice. They know they need guidance. But at the end of the day, the conversation between the parents and the children is the one that's not holding things together. It's the one that's limiting the two, and it's breaking them off. And it's not creating the connection that's important for the children to be successful. Hello, Coach Saibel, for joining. Coach Romel, maraming salamat for joining. Coach Nord and Coach Rizal, thank you very much for joining me this morning. So let's talk about the faulty communication. Faulty communication, when I say faulty, I say that coming from a space in which if our children or our teenagers are not openly communicating what they feel and the emotions that they have. I had this expectation before that children would eventually automatically speak to you if they feel something, if they need something and so on. But as I progress in the last 19 years of being a parent, hindi pala siya ganon. That you need to be the one as a parent engaging your children, trying to understand ano ba talaga yung gusto ng bata. What is it that they want to do? Like, what is it that they're desiring? What is it that they're wanting to learn? What is it that they wanting to achieve? And that kind of, connected with my head and my thinking and my thoughts, that if we want to fix the faulty communication, we need to start engaging. And during conversations, this is what usually happens. Teen may feel, they feel that they're being judged when the parents are talking to them. They feel that they're being pressured to do something that at times they don't want, or it's not their priority. They feel guilty about the things that's happening or the things that's being conversed. Stress starts to come in. Uncertainty, especially if the parent is enforcing their will to the children to do, to take up a course that they want for themselves, or maybe the parent is an engineer. The child they want the child to be an engineer as well. Or at times they would feel this loneliness that, my parents don't understand me. My parents don't understand my perspective, or my parents don't consider my perspective. And this is where it lies on being misunderstood, and the conversation would sidetrack towards, what was really being talked about, the situation or the problem, to moving towards irritation, or the teen being uncomfortable, or the teen being heavy. And likewise, the parents would do the same. So there's a lack in that synergy and a lack of that connection. And this is when the parents and the teen would start having that limited communication, which of course can add more when the issue starts being a loop. It's always a loop. It's the same situation, same process of thinking, same process of response, same process of how it would end. You know, when things become uncomfortable and you have a moment, eventually that the parents and the teen would push each other, farther and farther, then there's no more connection. Then instead of moving in the right way, you're moving in the wrong way. So that is where I've realized that, pushing things to your children is just pushing things away. You're not getting that connection that you are aiming for. And based on studies, it shows that a connected, caring parent-teen relationship is the key for healthy development through adolescence. Yeah. Staying connected. A caring parent. Ayan, caring. Now, caring means that you understand the person. But the challenge here is with parents, there is a scarcity or a lack of support to help the parents fully understand what is happening to their, teenage children and even children in general. Even the teen years specifically, when our teens are wanting to, be alone, they want to, have their identity, find their identity, it becomes a challenge because there are different transitions happening to the teens. Sabi ni Coach Saibel, parents have such a great role to fulfill. The role is very important that it can make or break the nation. I totally agree. It really does. I mean, for most part, for me, anyway, my experience there is if my mom and my dad didn't support me in that way, I wouldn't be this way. You wouldn't have this kind of wisdom, this kind of knowledge, this kind of experiences, this kind of learning for you to make a decision on what to do next. So that is an empowering feeling. But for some parents, it would be different because of the upbringing of their parents too. So how do teenagers think? Di ba iniisip natin, paano ba tumatakbo yung mind ng mga bata? And how can we start supporting them? And how can we start, giving them the necessary care for them to be successful? The inner working of a teenage brain is undergoing intensive transformative change which drive them to become more independent about their decisions. So ito talaga yung gusto ng mga bata. Na-observe ko yan eh. And my son and my daughter, when you ask them to do something, I would tell you they would give you that face. Before, when they were doing that, I would get angry at them and either I would shout at them. Worst I did is spank. No more spanking. Yeah, you can spank them little by little or just in the hands, but the spanking, avoid at all costs. And I realized that telling our children what to do will no longer work in this age and time. Because information is in the palm of their fingertips. And the way for you to do that, or to help your children make the right decisions is to ask them what they want to do. Or what is the best way or the best route for them. Teens this day, they also are wanting to seek their own identity to fit with their friends. Have you ever experienced a time in which you're trying to be a person, you're trying to be a person so that you can please your friends and you can be in that circle. Only to find out in the latter time that is not really you. That is not your identity. Sabi nga ni Master Coach A is, be in a space where you are celebrated, but of course not tolerated. That people are not tolerating, the things that are not helping you to grow or to be successful or to be in peace. The struggle for them is the competing impulse of seeking comfort in the family and transitioning towards life on their own. But, think about it. Think about the time when you were a teenager, when you were transitioning. Because this is the times when things feel confusing. Things would feel that, is this what I wanted to do? Is this really what I want? Is this the kind of friends that I want? Is this the kind of work that I want to do? Maybe, the degree that I want to have? And there's a lot of things that our children or our teenagers would need to cope up. And at times, children would feel embarrassed about it, you know, not knowing what they want to do. So they'd rather not speak, not talk about it. Especially when the parents would say, dapat naman na yan, ang dami ng sinabi. Diba? Yung bata, nakatulala lang at hindi na alam kung anong gagawin. Or the children can be vulnerable, you know. They'd rather not be vulnerable with that. So at the end of the day, they would just isolate and be on their own. And naturally, it would be uncomfortable. It be uncomfortable for the parent, and it can be uncomfortable to the children. You know? And the response, you I've seen my daughter would just and my son just shut down and avoid talking to you at all costs. You know, avoid at all costs talking to my dad because he's just gonna ask me to do things that I don't really want. And this was me 3 years ago before I got certified as a life coach. I mean, we were transitioning, but when I became a life coach, that changed a lot. That changed the perspective of how you need to be empathetic and compassionate towards your children. So I really call for the fathers specifically there. Mga tatay or yung mga future tatay. If you know some tatays out there, maybe you want to tag them in there. Fatherhood is a critical role that we need to play to help our children express more and speak more and verbalize more the things that they're thinking about, the things that they're feeling about, the emotions that they have. But one of the biggest challenges of men, and I'm going to speak for everyone based on my experience, the challenge is we are not taught how to respond emotionally. Mahirap siya. It is really a challenge. And when we start doing that, when we start coming from a space of empathy and compassion, and Master Coach has taught me this, that, pain, the pain that you have as men is the one that will really help you, be empathetic and more compassionate to other people. Pain plus reflection equals progress. And when we're able to accept that, we're able to acknowledge that, we're able to understand more how our children is experiencing their life. Because we have a deeper understanding. We can put ourselves in the shoes of our children or in their sleepers if they're at home. Coach Phoebe said, be in a space where you are celebrated and not tolerated. Thank you, Coach Phoebe. Yeah. So where are you at right now as a parent? And how are you considering your children's thinking? Different people have different ways of seeing things. Different people have different ways of doing things. But when we allow our children to go on their way while being supported, of course, by you with your, emotion coaching and the conversations that we have, the path for our children will be more and more clearer. And they would be able to start making decisions of what to do next that would serve, fulfilling their desires and fulfilling their dreams. Keeping open communication lines allow us to communicate openly. Yeah. Keeping open communication becomes even more vital when you consider that the teen years are the period where children are highly susceptible to stress, risky behaviors, poor decision makings. They also have anxiety and they also experience depression. When my daughter was 16 years old, she was diagnosed with clinical depression. These were the time in which we have some accountability in there because we keep on forcing our children, or having this expectation for our children, that they need to have this grade, they need to go on the stage, they need to do this, they need to do that, and this and do that, and it just adds up to the stress, or to the stressor of the child. And when we realize that, we come into terms with that, we started looking for an avenue to really open up the communication line between ourselves and our children. Because for you to open the communication is for the parent to start opening up. It's not the other way around, that the children will open up. No. There's a gap in there that you need to fill. And for you to be able to fill that gap, the parent needs to open that communication, to connect that, so that this can communicate properly. It's a two-way street. But it, of course, starts one way, because you need to make a decision to engage. And engagement for parents, for men specifically, is not that easy. Right? I mean, it's easy to have a conversation, a transactional relationship. It's easy. Transactional relationship are, in the workplace, you see this. I ask you to do something, you do it, I leave, and that's it. Or maybe we go on lunch, but we talk about work still. That's transactional communication. Relational communication talks about deeper conversations, emotional conversations. What is the person really thinking about? And that is something that we can do at work, but when we come at home, it's a bit of a challenge for us. And one of the things that we need to start working on, and we need to start developing. The parents are the first, trigger to keep that communication line open. Because if the parents are closed, there's no way for you to communicate openly. So, how to talk to your teen? Ayan. How do you start talking to your teen? May mga nanonood tayo na wala pang mga anak. Ayan. How do you start talking to teen, or in general, how do you talk to other people? This one, I've learned this as I progressed, but I've also utilized some of this when I'm talking to when I was still back in corporate, my people, other people as well, and even the coaches, and even the relationship that I have. And I use this learning with my children, and started to embrace that with other conversations. So my hope for those singles out there, maybe you'll get some nuggets in here, then you can start implementing, and just let me know how are you progressing, so that at least I would see how things are. If you need any help, then I can support you. I can give you some of my insights. Coach Seibel said, it will be such a great world if parents would heed and practice this. Para sa mga singles, it's great to know this while getting there. Exactly. I mean, sabi nga ni Master Coach, diba, prevention is better than cure. So let's learn something so that it can be prevented. All right? So, how to talk to your teens? I'll give you 7 tips. Number 1 is, of course, focus on listening. Ayan. Basic foundation. Easy, but difficult. Yan. It's so easy, but so difficult. Focus on listening. Listen to understand before you can be understood. Makinig muna tayo. When I was reflecting on this, before, when I didn't really know how to do parenting, I would, bombard my children with a lot of things. And instead of me allowing them to speak, they would not speak. So I can really understand what they're trying to say. And that one, it's kind of, you would feel sad about it. Because if you have known these things ahead of time, it could have been a different experience, right? My daughter could have not have had any depression whatsoever, or anxiety. They could have listened more to what she was not showing, was not expressing in words, but in action, or in other ways. So focus on listening when you're talking to your teenage children. Makinig ka. And just not the voice itself, even the nonverbal cues. Focus on that. Listen on that. That will go a long way when you start practicing. A challenge here for parents is to keep our mouth shut so that our children can start speaking. And if that is something that you're having a challenge right now, I tell you, let's have a conversation. Let me help you. Let me help you start listening. Para sa mga bata. Para matuto yung mga bata at maging confident ka na kahit anong mangyari, your kids will do well. Right? So that's the first. Number 2 is don't judge. Don't judge the children. Be in a space in which you are still understanding the person. Maybe the person is going through, or the children is going through some rough patches that you need to work on them. You need to help them. Or at times, they cannot verbalize these words so that other people can understand. So help them find the word. Don't judge agad. Kung agad i-judge or reject. Don't do that. No, hold that. Hold that, bias in you. And just come into a space of understanding. Number 3, of course, keep cool. Ayan. Ano ba cute ng aso, di ba? Keep cool. Cool ka lang. May kanta nito eh. Cool ka lang. Keep your cool. Sometimes you get so irritated with your children because when you're talking to your teenage children, they would just look at you in the face and just stare at you. And you would think, naiintindihan ba ako ng anak ko? Or gusto niya ba ako sagutin? Naiinis ba siya? Is he irritated? Does he want to, irritate me too? What is it? So this one, I've learned in parenting on how to stretch further your patience. So me, challenging it is. I have 14 years in the corporate world. When you tell people to do these things, they would do it. Especially, I work in a workforce management. I manage the team. I manage, the agents. Yan, Coach Seibel, di ba? Coach Seibel, the workforce management team would ask you, you're on break, you're on long call, you're on long break, long lunch, where are you? You're on long hold. These are the things that I do. And it was a stretch for me to change that mindset at home because it's different. It's a different thing. And I started to make that change as well in the workplace because, if you continue with that, people would just continue leaving you and nothing would happen. Number 4 is pause. Pause, breathe, ponder on the situation, and choose whatever the best for you and do it. Keep your cool and pause. Have empathy to your children, especially when they're speaking, especially when they're not speaking. Come in a space of understanding. Come in a space in which you're allowing your children to have that, safe space for them to be themselves. Yeah. Coach BB said, yeah, it's a two-way communication, but parents and children must be open to listening. Coach Nords agreed, Coach, it is. It's time to be intentionally prepared for the time to come. Yes, Coach Nords is intentional living. Ayan, pag kung gusto nyo ng intentional living, go to the tribe of Coach Nords. Matutulungan kayo niyan. Number 5 is see them as their own person. When my children were growing up, I used to think that they're going to be someone who's much better than me. That they're going to do better. They're going to do this. They're going to do that, and so on. But as I age, I grew in my career. I grew in the life coaching profession. I realized that individuals, even my children, have different, they have different designs. They have different designs given to them by God. And the way for us to be able to help them is to allow them to explore and be themselves. And coaching allows me to fast track that and makes it more easier, makes it more, seamless for them. to discover that. And it's a wonderful thing that you're able to see your children do the things that they're smiling doing it. Like even if when they're seated, you just focus on them, you will see them that, hey, they're enjoying what they're doing. It's a fun thing to look at. And then you would have this fulfilling feeling that everything is doing well. Of course, number 6, how to talk to your teen. Use humor. uh, I've emphasized this ever since I realized that this is one of my strengths. I was not intentional about this humor thing. I thought that this humor is something that I needed to park because of my status in the corporate world. You need to be serious, di ba? When you're in a leadership role, and eventually you get put in an executive role, medyo mahirap siya eh. Yeah, being a director, you can't just be joking around here and there. You need to be serious with the results, because if you're not serious, you're not gonna get the results. You're not gonna get the performance. And when I realized this, and I've learned about this during the Path to Self Encounter by Master Coach A. So if you're interested to go through that program, you can reach out to Coach Rizal. See in the comment section in there, Coach Rizal. She's running that, the Path to Self Encounter. And the Path to Self Encounter allows you to see your strengths. And this is one of my character strengths. Number 3, to be exact. Humor. Utilize humor to make that connection. To make your children see that you can be, kwela. You can be light. You can be not so serious. You can be just chill. That they can start doing that as well. That they won't feel na hindi pwede mag-joke dito, baka magpagsabihan ako kung ano sabihin sa akin. So would rather not do it. So use humor. For men out there, I've met some humorous guy that if you take a look at them at first glance, parang hindi naman mga humoristic to. But when you start talking to them, especially pag parehas yung strength nyo, I tell you, it's just a wonderful conversation. Oh, sorry. And lastly, number 7, share their interest. What is it that your children are interested doing? What are they watching? What are they playing? What are they reading, for that matter? Because this one, when you have a common interest, and this is best for men out there, for us men, we make friends based on interest. Not like woman. For woman, they make a connection based on emotional connection. They would have that. Interest then emotions. Tayo, pag hindi na nag-align yung interest natin, then eventually we'll move on to the next, environment. But if the interests stick the same, then you have that connection. Because, your intellect is aligning. So share their interest. Go down to their level. Go down to where they're at. Meet them where they are. So that when you meet them, you hold hands with them, and you can be there to support them up until such time that they have, they can go, live their life on their own. So again, focus on listening. Don't judge. Keep your cool. Cool ka lang. Of course, pause. See them as their own person. They're not you. So don't compare them as you. Or don't say that, dati naman ako ganito, don't do that. Use your humor and share their interests. And if you're able to master this or be proficient at one of this, I tell you, your relationship would change. It would change. But you just need to be patient. It takes time, especially if you're much older than your children. It takes time. Yeah. Coach PB said, I couldn't agree more to that, seeing them as their own, celebrate their individuality, embracing their uniqueness. Yan, si Coach PB, ang tinutulungan niya naman yung mga new generation. So if you need support from Coach PB, just ask her, message her. Now, kung gusto niyo din mag-book writing, Coach Cybel is there. Cybel Avance. Kung gusto niyo ng book writing, Coach Cybel is gonna run a class, or maybe your teenager would like to write a book, message niyo siya. You'll really enjoy that. She's an author, by the way. All right? Let me show you this. So this is what usually happens on how parents, anyway, or the stereotype. If you want to make a connection with your children would need to see the parent trail for them to connect with the children, with the parents, diba? So parent trail is, um, I'm an engineer, so my children needs to be engineer. Or maybe I was poor before, so I need to invest on my children so that we can be have more money, and all of these things. This is what happens for you to get that love of or affection from your teenagers. Some of this work, some of it doesn't work, you know, and it's a totally different thing. So you can't really see at the end of what it will look like, because I've seen people who, when they are in that stage of their life, and they ask themselves, is this really what I wanted? They start wandering around trying to figure out what they wanted to do. You see, if you want to make that connection, or you want to communicate with your children, there are two trails. Hindi lang isang trail, parent trail. You also need to include the teen trail. And the teen trail is understanding your children's journey and meeting them where they are. Meeting them kung saan sila, ano na sila, anong kailangan ng tulong, anong kailangan support. Because eventually, when these two trail, merge, that's the time that you would really have that connection. And if this is something that, interests you, if it is something that, you want to learn more about and how you can utilize this, just feel free to message me. Let's have a conversation. Let's have that, fix that glue in your relationship. Para naiintindihan mo yung bata at naiintindihan ka ng bata. Or better yet, if you really want to make that necessary change in your life so that you can be peaceful and harmonious with your children, I would like to invite you to the Co-Actively Co-Create Life Coach Certification Program. This program, this is a 21-day journey for you becoming a certified life coach. And you might say, Coach, I don't want to professionalize this. I don't want to monetize this. You see, the beautiful thing about coaching, and I've been talking about it for the last, 40 minutes. The power in asking thought-provoking questions allows our children and even ourselves to think about the things that, we don't think about. Taking a look at things in perspective. Asking more questions to realize what's important to us and what's important to our children, so that you can synergize. Because when you're able to do that, you're able to create a movement that allows you to create, and get out that sleeping giant in your children. Because your children have talents, and you have too. And if you can start utilizing that, I tell you, it just would be a different experience. I'm from batch 1, and there's a lot of learnings in there, like, understanding, the hero's journey, on how we are journeying and where the path we had, so that we can make more connection, we can understand more people, and we can make that, long lasting, giving them value. And in coaching, as a parent, it would help you reestablish positive family relationship. Either you want to be a coach, or if you need a coach, these are the things that you can get. It also helps you improve the lines of communication. I've shared to you how, those 7 tips have, empowered me because of life coaching. It also would allow you to build confidence and self-efficacy in parents and children, that you be more confident of who you are. You can be more confident in your conversations, and develop problem-solving skills and creativity skills, which allows you and your teen to, broaden your scope, to see more beyond it. So how do you know if you need a parenting coach? Well, if your teenager have behavioral problems, A life coach would help you find effective ways to address issues such as aggression, maybe there are rivalries in the sibling, and defiance. In stress-related parenting issues, a life coach would also find ways to take care. You could help you find ways to take care of yourself and manage your stress. Can also help you with best practice, parenting practice. Assist you in following through with research-based best practices in regards to issues such as your homework, the homework of your children, the gadgets, and exercises. This is what we need. And developmental activities, strategies that support your child's physical, emotional, and social development. We all need this. Our children need this to be emotionally connected and socially connected. And also, parenting during transitions or crisis, especially right now, we are in crisis, we are in a pandemic. It helps you as a parent find the best solution on crisis, on hardship. Maybe there's a loss in the family or divorce. There's a separation happening. And of course, lastly, practical problems. Help you create a plan to address childcare issues or educational problems. This is where a life coach would allow you to open up that opportunity for you to create a better life and also a better relationship with your children. So if this is something that you want to explore, I highly invite you to join us. Message us at Life Coach Philippines. If you have any questions, just feel free to put in there in the comment section, or you can feel free to message how the life coaching certification would help you, or how life coaching will help you as a parent to your teen. Of course, for those of you who've watched this, who've seen this, I'm going to share to you a free gift. It's an ebook on the stages of change. Let's have a deeper understanding of why change. There's a stages. No, change is not just overnight that tomorrow your child will be okay. No, it takes time. And if you understand this, you'll be more patient. Just like my page, Coach Shaun De Hoya, and message me there, and I'll send you the ebook. So again, inviting you, actively co-create Life Coach Certification Program. It's going to be on, just connect with Coach Rizal through 0917-586-1661, or you can send her an email, connect@mastercoacha.com. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. As I end this conversation, let me invite you to be part again of what we're doing as an organization of professional certified life coaches. Do join us for another coaching conversation later with Coach Nords for intentional living at 2 p.m. and Coach Phoebe for coaching for self-literacy at 4 p.m. So ayan po sila. Meron pa po mamaya. So please come and join. You'll learn a lot of things from them. And again, I would like to invite you for the Co-Actively Co-Create Life Coaching Certification Program. This is a comprehensive approach to learning and mastering life coaching as an active process of creating a new path to achieving results in life so that success is inevitable in every coaching relationship. It includes a 21-day web-based learning, a 3-day live coaching bootcamp with Master Coach A, and 3-day live business bootcamp with senior coaching team. And the program package also comes with many other bonuses. So connect with Coach Rizal through 0917-586-1661 to discover the opportunities awaiting for you in this profession. All right? So once again, maraming salamat. I am Coach Shaun De Hoya from Life Coach Philippines for Coaching Think Talk. Coaches like us think and talk like this. This is us in the Philippines. Labang boom, everyone. Labang boom. Labang boom. Thank you. Bye-bye.